Marty, you want to lead us in our invocation tonight?
Sure. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time together. Lord, we ask that you just be with us during this meeting, give us wisdom in any decisions that need to be made, and thank you for your goodness and grace. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen. Samantha, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we will convene our meeting. We'll start with roll call. Misty Cottle.
Here.
Jeff Upton. Here. Jan Throgmorton.
Here.
Marty Lindaberry.
Here.
John Collins. Here. Dina McKnight.
Here.
Don Rollins. Here. Jimmy Condiff. Our city attorney and city clerk are both present. The first item on our agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Does anyone have any questions, concerns, or amendments to that? Possibly a motion?
I make a motion that we accept it as written. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, no. That motion carries. Next is the approval of our meeting minutes from our July 9th meeting. Are there any changes that need to be made to those?
I make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, no. That motion carries. Next is our public forum, where we welcome anyone to come forward and address the council and mayor. We ask that you please keep your remarks to around 2 minutes. Is there anyone who would like to address the council tonight? No? All right. We'll close the public forum and move into our business reports. Up first, Walter Harnish, Planning Commission.
Good evening. So, not much of a business report. We didn't meet last month because we didn't have any agenda items. And this month, all we have is a simple lot split over here on McKnight, 253, and the property next to it. It's a lot line adjustment, so they're just shifting the line a little bit between them. And yeah, so not a whole lot going on this month. So if you got questions or ideas, come into our meeting and we'll talk about it.
About time now, there.
Well, we're ready to move forward with Title 15 now.
Yeah.
Since we're headed to, so yeah, not much.
Any questions for Walter? No? Thank you, sir. Next, our court report. Tracy?
Okay, so our disbursements look like they were down. Well, actually, they were up about 6,000 from the month before. I was going to say, so on the time pay balance, the year-to-date chart, you guys had asked, Mayor had asked me to delete like the old time pays and stuff when I issue the fail to pays. And the software people that we use, they are recommending that we don't do that, just because we can't track it. And the other thing is, like, if we start using a collection agency, they don't know which ones to collect on, which ones not to, if we don't have this outstanding. The other thing is that the Court Solutions is the fine payment thing that we use. And so when we do, if they go online and they want to pay in full, if we've deleted the time pay, it's no longer accruing, and they can't pay off stuff. You know what I mean? Our system shows a different amount than what is on there, so they don't end up paying the full amount of what they should be paying.
Okay.
So I think I'll change my practice. But the reason I was looking at it is because I was like, okay, the collection part is going back up steadily, looks like. The 312 to from May, 312,000, in July it says 338,000.
Mhm.
The part that's outstanding was going up quite a bit, and I'm not exactly sure what the difference is that.
So did they have suggestions on how to manage that better? If we're not going
I'm
to
supposed to
delete?
meet with, I'm supposed to have a meeting in September
Okay.
with them. I'm waiting until after my training is over and after the fair.
Okay.
That's not everything I can handle right now. I was going to share with you that we got a thank you note from Jessica and Curtis thanking us for our donations and stuff from the city and for thinking of him and keeping him in prayers and stuff. He's doing as well as can be expected, I guess, but they are expecting to have to do more surgeries and stuff in the future. But she's also getting ready for him to come home. So anyway, there was a nice thank you note on my desk when I got here the other day.
Cool.
Okay, I finished with my court manager program.
Very
On
good.
Friday, I am now a certified court manager.
Yay!
They said now I can put CCM after on my closing,
Ah, nice.
my signature line in my email. I thought that's kind of cool.
So that was a 3-year program?
Yes,
Wow.
yeah. They did a live graduation ceremony and everything, like a live feed where family and friends could watch it.
Oh, nice.
Things like that. And they took pictures and we got to meet, like, I think they were Supreme Arkansas State Justices or something.
Yeah.
So we were in this round, you know, it was the Oval Office, I guess. It's a circle. Anyway, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is. It's very good.
Yeah, it was fun. Our last one was on budget, and I was like, this is very good since we've
We're
been
coming into
asked to
season.
start thinking about this.
Very cool. I'm proud of you.
Cool, thank you.
Yes, good job.
Any questions for Tracy?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is our library report. Marie?
Well, so we wrapped up summer reading this past month, and we had 37 out of 123 people finish our summer reading challenge. We are really excited that this month we have Miss Peggy Bowen coming and doing a lace making demo for our teens and tweens for Fabulous Fibers. And then in September, the Amazium is coming for Fabulous Fibers to do a needle felting class. So I have a lot of fun stuff coming up. And then we've also launched another story time. So originally we just kind of been like any age group, which all are still welcome at both, but we are now targeting one towards 3 and over. And then we're also targeting one for 0 to 36 months. So we're really excited. Lindsay's going to be having it tomorrow, and we're excited to see where this goes. And we had a lot of fun with our escape room this past couple of months. We're going to be having another one in December. And we're also really excited. We have the Arkansas Poet Laureate coming in September as well. She is going to come and present some of her new poetry that was just published the other month. So,
Hey, good job.
does anyone have any questions about any of the material?
I'd like to say how excited I am because you are rocking it in the library. Always. She's constantly rocking it. So you're doing a great job.
Well, thank you so
I'm
much.
really proud of you.
You know, when you look at, just to add on to that, Jan, when you look at the reports that she gives us each month, and then you look at the reports that, say, a Mark or Chad gives us, it's just amazing.
I know the difference.
Yep. Well, Mark doesn't let us have fun, you know, like she does.
So Marie, I was going to highlight that you guys are doing some irregular hours at the library.
Yeah, so we did a couple of irregular hours. We were kind of testing some stuff out. One was for a staff meeting so that we didn't have to have staff come in a lot of extra time. And then the other one, we were experimenting. Unfortunately, no one came to the program that evening, but we did have people come for the repeat program in the morning. So we're kind of playing with it and seeing if ever having after-hour programs for people who are at work all day is going to be a good fit. So it was a test run, and we'll probably try again later. So,
Cool.
Good job.
yeah. Oh, and also, if you guys have questions for Mayor Cottle, we are going to be relaunching Ask the Mayor in October, and so you can submit your questions at the library.
Exciting.
Did you ever count the parking spaces?
You know, every time I do, I forget to write it down and bring it.
She still doesn't have it.
So you should probably make a note. Don's going to ask this in October.
Every time, yes.
I'm going to have you come over to the library and count them too.
All right. Thank you, Marie.
We can take a walk around the library.
Next is Police Department, Chief Halliburton.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, we started off with 338 calls for service during the month of July, which is down 102 calls from this time last year. We took 30 reports, we wrote 50 citations, gave out 99 warnings. We had served 29 warrants, 6 felony arrests, 3 misdemeanor arrests. And that's pretty much it as far as statistics. We did get our new Durango in, and we are waiting on the upfit kit to come in, which should be, from what I'm told, sometime at the end of this month. So we look forward to having that on the road and out here serving the public.
Any questions for Chief Halliburton? No?
Why do you think it was down so much?
What was
Why do
that?
you think it was down so much? That's over 100, isn't it?
Well,
I mean, is it just that people are not being out, or?
put more people on the radio.
Good job, nice answer, but.
I don't know, it's just one of those things,
Right.
you know, when we do calls for service, that also encompasses, extra checks and patrols. And
Right.
maybe we did less of those. We did 252
Right.
that weren't dispatch 911.
Right.
So it could be anything like that.
Yeah.
So there's no,
I just wonder, has there been less people at the river for some?
there's people there every day.
I know
It's hit or
they're there
miss.
every day.
It's hit or miss. Some days, even with, to me, no water, there could be a crowd, and other days there might be one family.
Right.
So it's just, like I said, it's just, I guess, what else they had to do that day.
It looks busy, but it doesn't seem like it's as bad as it used to be.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe some people have stopped coming here, they're not Westport.
Could be.
I don't have that data.
Okay. Just had to ask.
Anything else for Chief Halliburton?
Good job.
Thank you, sir. Next, Public Works, Isaac.
I don't have much to report. It's been a typical month, trying to keep the grass mowed and fix 4 or 5 leaks and one sewer back up. Homestead, the contractor's moving along really fast. They're even testing manholes behind them and testing lines, so I think they're on the 2nd Street. They're about 3/4 of the way up the 2nd Street, so we figure they'll be tying services over in 2 months. So we'll be getting new sewer customers then. Had our first progress meeting, went really well. The engineer was out with COVID, so he wasn't there, so it was really quick. Worked through a few things that they had spec'd out that we didn't necessarily agree that the contractor needed to do. Met with Fayetteville, worked through the meter stuff. I think we've come up with a solution of how we can move forward with the sewer meter until it gets replaced, which hopefully is in the next 2 or 3 weeks. They said 6 weeks, and I think it's been 3. Has it been 3 already, Kristen? So hopefully we'll have a new meter in there. And then we'll have to kind of backtrack and recalibrate based on rainfall. Other than that, I'm kind of waiting on Church Street. I sent the Jorgensen guy email saying I could meet him just about any time. I haven't heard anything back. I don't know if we've heard anything from Derek. I haven't. So Smith Street's going. I think they've got 3 framed up and roofed and another slab waiting, so, and then they say they're gonna do 4 more, so it's moving along pretty well.
Any issues up there yet?
No. We did add another water customer, Dan Patrick, who was on a well up there. His well went dry Friday, so we already made him a tap because he knew it was in bad shape, so he tied on Saturday. We set him a meter Saturday, so So we picked up the last customer up there on that side. So.
Very nice.
And I think he's gonna tie the sewer. I think he's gonna bring the sewer down there too. So,
That'd be good.
yeah. I think that's all I got. I've got some questions.
Summertime, love it.
Nothing for Isaac?
I don't know what I lost last month.
23%?
20, 26, 28.
23?
23, I think, 23, 24.
Good numbers.
Yeah.
It's all them people watering their gardens. So, that's all I got.
Good job.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Isaac. Next, Parks Director Harris.
So, to answer Jan's question, based on the trash collection, Riverside hasn't been quite as busy the last 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know if it's the mud hole, if it's
That's all it is,
I-
you know?
the water, the very little
Just the mud
water.
hole.
It's still busy, but it's not like it was in the early summer for sure, and like it has been in years past. It's been a little better. So don't have a lot to report. We did work with SWEPCO over the last couple of weeks of getting our electric line, power line extension done at Carter Park so we can feed our new bathrooms that have been in service, but working on battery powered stuff instead of, they have been in service, but they do not, have not been powered. So now we've got it down there, we got that finished. We just got to do it on our end now and get our bathrooms going with power and electricity. So, but in that process, they did set 2 new security lights down there as well that are going to service that gravel parking lot and the bathroom area as well. So, and we're going to be able to add cameras out there now to watch that parking lot and stuff. Some of the troubles we've had there with donuts and everything. So that'll be nice. We should get that packed up pretty soon. We're also working on getting several of our structures re-roofed. We're switching everything that does not have a metal roof to metal, which is the concession stand at Carter and the score booths, and then all 3 pavilions at Riverside. We switched out. And thanks to Isaac, he worked with the metal company and got us a big discount, saved us about $7,500, and we're going to put them on one of our spots on the school board that we had left. So that's going to save us quite a bit of money. So I do appreciate Isaac. He's the one who ordered the metal and stuff for me and was able to work that out. So, and then as far as parks, that's all I've got. I did do a little research on the memorial. Mayor had asked me to bring y'all some options and prices. I didn't necessarily do that. Did some research, and it really just depends. There's so many options and so many ways you can go. None of them are cheap. I brought just one sample that kind of gives you what you can get and how much it's going to be, the size. So I will pass that out and then tell you some of the other things that I found. This is just a military memorial. That's definitely one option. But you can see it's about a 4x5 and its cost is approximately $15,000. So it really just depends on what you want to spend. There's not a lot of cheaper options out there. I mean, there are, but they're also going to look cheaper. So it really depends what you want to do.
If this were set, would it be where it can be hit with a car or
Yes.
truck? Okay. Just want to make sure some 5 foot tall could be easily knocked over. Would be my concern there.
So for that one, it's big enough that, because our original plan was to do 3. We want a military and then a police and a fire, maybe a bigger one in the middle, 2 smaller ones. But if you did something like that, you could work all 3 on those. It's big enough. Or you could do, you could still do one smaller than that in the middle and a couple of smaller ones on the side as well. There's options, there's plaques out there that are cheaper, but you still gotta have some, come up with something to put them on. I looked at just basically headstones, because that's what those similar, but even a headstone that is not gonna look like a headstone and also be big enough is gonna be $8,000 or $9,000 a piece as well. So basically, to get something nice, you're gonna look at spending $15,000 to $25,000 to get the 3 memorials that you want. If you want cheaper options and routes, we can definitely look at that. I'm just not sure if you can find anything that's gonna look very nice in what I've done so far. Travis has helped me a little bit. And really, there's so many options out there that I couldn't print everything and bring to you. So I just kind of wanted to bring you the base model that might work and give you an idea.
Needs to be decent. I mean, you know, if we're gonna do it, we should spend the money and do it. I mean, do it right, not halfway, so.
That's kind of, I mean, I can come back, if you give me a price range, then I can come back with some designs and some options with that. But until I've got that, I don't want to spend a lot of time and effort bringing, you know, if we're not going to spend 20, then I don't want to come back with a bunch of options. So that's kind of where I'm at.
If you get a chance, reach out to Kelly Claremore, see if he has any connections still.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. You know, he did our engraving on our rock.
Yeah, and I don't know if he
sign.
could still do some stuff, or if he just has connections, or, you know, if he could help us with price. I don't know, but,
Sure.
you know, I know he was in that for a long time, but
Right.
he did have good connections, and,
Yeah, he might have some thoughts and
Yeah.
some ideas, because most of mine is just basically on the internet.
Yeah.
If I find
well, he might be able
websites.
to give you some ideas.
That's a good idea. And
Maybe even a build on natural rock.
could be an option, that could be a cheaper option as well. Getting the rock is something we can do, maybe. It's what we did for the welcome sign. It just depends what you want it to look like too. And there's some out there, I don't know if y'all seen the one at Greenland at the football field that they have. It doesn't look, it's not bad, it's all natural rock. I mean, that could be an option as well. That might be cheaper.
Is there, excuse me, is there any way to do like, say, I don't know, some kind of, like a fountain with like, I don't know, a statue of some sort in it, and then kind of do this around it?
Depends how much money you want to spend.
Well, and I thought that part of what we were thinking is like all of these little squares that people could like if they had a family member
When we
who,
had a committee that was working that was kind of their goal, but then it just kind of never came to fruition. So, I mean, it's definitely something, we talked about eventually, possibly, the area that the Eagle Scout did, made gravel, kind of a rock gravel area, we could eventually maybe even concrete that and then come back and sell it like engravings in the concrete itself, or do engraved bricks. I mean, it still can be optioned down the line.
yeah.
It really just depends how y'all want to move forward.
I guess in my mind, I'm picturing like, you know, families coming and, you know, sitting around, and if the fountain was kind of going, it would be like, you know, I don't know. It just, this is real, you know, it's good, but it's real plain, and I just wish we could do
That's
something.
also $15,000.
Yeah, but in my mind, I'm thinking we're selling these stones that people are gonna be able to dedicate to someone in the service that has maybe died, you know, like
Sure.
in dedication
Yeah,
or
that's-
in memorial to this person who was in the fire, you know, or police or something, that's where we can make money to pay for this.
Right.
I don't know, it's just a thought, it's just, because I've seen recently so many fountains, and whether it's a big ball that has all this different stuff on it that says about love or hope or whatever, but we could change that, and it could be a, you know, either a statue in the middle, or just something that's just, I don't know, kind of like sacred and holy and you're, you know, remembering your loved one and it's a peaceful setting versus you just go and it's a stone. I don't know. That's just my thoughts. I don't know. I don't know if there's any way to,
So,
if anybody else likes
I-
anything like that or.
I think the options are unlimited. I think the council needs to decide, one, do we want to move forward with this and get serious about it, right? So Ann and, I don't remember who all was on that committee, but they met tirelessly to get us where we are now. But the fact of the matter is, they had very few outside participants, right? And during the whole time, we never discussed city funding of anything. We talked about, you know, would there be the potential for for selling pavers and trying to get some buy-in on this? But we never got it. And COVID came along and we kind of disbanded the committee. The city has moved along with the help of the Boy Scouts and a couple others around the city who have made donations. You know, the flagpole came with a donation. But it's been slow go. I would like to see us come up with, you know, some type of figure to say, hey, as we're budgeting, we're coming into budget season, can we work this figure in? And maybe it's not this year. I don't know, but I think if it's something that at one time there was some folks that wanted to see this come to life. It could be that they got burnt out because they were meeting a lot, they were planning a lot, but they didn't have a lot of buy-in. They certainly didn't have it from us on the council. So I think that's where the discussion needs to be. Misty, you know, I think there's a lot of options out there that need to be discussed. Do we want something like this? This is nice. This obviously has the insignias of the military branches on it. It's just for the military. But if someone would do some digging, so we've asked Chad to get us something to look at, but it really needs some more digging to get an idea of where does the council want to go. That's not really Chad's lane to jump in, but I think he's done a good job of giving us something that we can visualize. Now, where do we want to go with that, and how much do we want to spend on it, is something that this body needs to kind of come up with, and then potentially get another committee together with some council involvement that says, hey, this is where we're going, and then bring something to the council during budgeting time to say, this is kind of what we've decided on, this is the dollar figure we came to. Do we have entirety of the council to support it, or a majority anyway?
I think that we should do something, and we should set a price. And if this is 15, I mean, you know, we gotta be real. They've got to have some leeway to work. You know, whoever's doing it has to have the leeway. So if we said 20, you know, don't have to spend it just because we approve it, but they may possibly need 20. I mean, I've been looking at them just for my mom, and one single person, you know, and I've seen them for $2,000 or $3,000, you know. So this is important. It's important to our community that we recognize all these people.
And I agree with you. If we're going to do it, we should do it right.
Right.
But we have 7 department heads sitting out here going, oh, that's coming out of my budget, right?
I know.
So we have to balance that with
Well, they
the
gotta
other
buy
needs.
into it too, and you know, we
Chief, you got some more budget to cut this year.
So I think we have to set a decent amount of money to work with, or we're wasting time just even talking about it. You know, things are not getting cheaper. They're getting higher and higher every day. I mean, people are struggling just to buy groceries, so let's face it, you know, it's gonna be a lot of money, and $20,000 is a lot of money. But I think they have to have some leeway to be able to work it, you know. Doesn't mean they're gonna spend 20 just because it's sitting there, but if they had to, we should allow it.
Yeah, I brought this not to say, hey, this is something we need to do. I just brought this to give you an idea of what this type of thing costs, what you can get for 15.
And
I agree with Jan. This is nice, but maybe you need something more.
I'd be curious to see if we could guarantee so much money if we could get like VFWs or some of the other things like that to maybe add to it, maybe help us.
And I think that's where
Maybe
we,
a grant out there too from, even from the chaplain organization, you might be able to get a grant.
I think that's where we've run aground in the past, Dawn, is nobody really took the council serious that they were behind this. Misty talked about selling paper. We don't want to go into this thinking, well, we're going to get paid back.
No.
But any little thing that helps,
Sure.
any donations, and potentially if the city said, hey, we're going to earmark some money for this, let that get into the community, maybe there would be some more support for it. We don't know.
Maybe even the churches could support it. I mean, we set aside for missions and we try to do a lot of local stuff at our church. So, I mean, and this is about people who definitely done some missions,
Mhm.
so I wouldn't have a problem taking it to ours and asking for some money.
It'd be easier to ask people to donate for a paper now that there's actually something there to look at.
Right.
Before we were like, how do you ask somebody if they want to put a paper on this piece of grass?
Right, exactly, yeah,
Empty
I know.
spot.
But it would be nice.
Yeah, I don't think I was coming, I think you might have misunderstood me.
No, not at all. I just
Because
want-
I think the paper is more for a loved one that they want to show respect for and honor for whatever their service that they did, and that they can come and see that paper and be, at this spot and remember them and bring their family, because maybe they live far away, or maybe they don't have a grave, or, it's just kind of like, oh, well, they were in World War II or whatever. So I think it's more, not that we're trying to make money, but that was just where some of the money we could get and invest into the project.
No, I get you. I was just saying that we shouldn't come at this, and I wasn't suggesting you were, I was just making the comment that we shouldn't come at it as potentially we get our money back. That
No.
we want to encourage people to donate to it, to be involved in it, but we will likely never get the money we spend on this back, and that's okay. That's not what we're out for.
Yeah, I just wanted the families to be able to have a marker if they wanted one.
Someday it may be one of us, I mean, let's face it.
Well,
Let's
just
be real.
I just thought it would be
My family would
nice.
love it.
Yeah, I thought it would be nice, for, a great-grandfather, if you wanted to
That's
buy
why
a
people
marker
do
for them.
memorial-
or-
Yeah, that's why people do
Yeah.
memorials, like the ones, Vietnam Memorial,
Right.
Whatever.
Yes.
So John, would you be willing to spearhead a committee? No? Dawn? Excuse me?
Good man.
So if you would spearhead it, Tom, Christie, keep me out of trouble here.
Too late.
Most likely. If Don spearheads that and holds a committee meeting and other council members show up, do we have to record that? Okay. Which is not a big deal. We just have to get a recorder because there's more than
Or if
one
you're on
council
the
member.
committee. I
Huh?
mean, can we not go to a committee meeting and have several of us
But we'd
there
be talking
without
about like
having?
Or if you
budgets or
record it.
funding for it, or, I don't, right?
Yeah.
Well, if it's
Yeah,
set,
that'll work.
if it's set, if we set an amount, we can say, well, this is the amount that the city is willing to do, but how much can we get on our own,
Yeah.
to help that?
I'm just saying, if Don's spearheading it and one of you guys show up, we just need to make sure we record it. Record the meeting, because at that point it becomes public.
I'll be
So-
there.
Me too.
I've been in this since, it was
I
like,
know.
So
you-
Ann, would you commit to be the secretary of it?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we just need some more
I
some-
commit to it.
some more community involvement to get that committee going, and then we've got 2 months, Christie, before we get serious about budget.
1 month before we get serious, 2 months before I'm gonna have to have a number.
Okay. So can the council come to an agreement on a not to exceed or a ballpark of not to exceed? John, you said you wouldn't participate in the committee, or you wouldn't chair it.
what would be a number you would like to see the council?
After we buy a snowplow, whatever we need. But I think there is stuff that we've needed and not done before we come to this. So,
That's true.
you know,
So it may not
that's
be this
my
next
total
year,
opinion.
but we can get on the ball thinking for further, you know. Maybe we can buy a snowplow this year and then next year do that.
they're $8,100.
8,100.
Does anyone else have an amount that they would suggest that this committee that we've formed looks at keeping this under?
I'm gonna say 20.
Are we just speculating numbers, or are we gonna try to go?
Just to give the committee something to look at.
We're basing it on just something.
We're not spending any money, but just,
I bet you're looking at every bit of $30,000 by the time you're done, trying to do what needs to be done.
Maybe so. But, you know, you can raise some of it.
so do we have consensus? Do we go with John and put this off? Do we go with Jan or Jeff and say 20 to 30,000?
Where would that money come from?
We don't know yet. That's why we're talking about it now before we get into budget.
Where did it come from?
But I guess I'm thinking. of
You're
it
volunteering
differently,
your
like-
budget?
No.
Oh.
Would anybody be opposed to a polished concrete wall?
Would you be opposed to attending some of the committee meetings? Okay?
Is that something that the city can do? Or
You don't want me doing that.
I'm just asking.
It would be
you know.
cheaper than those.
It would be.
It would be a
No
much cheaper
doubt.
wall.
No
But
doubt.
I mean, there are some concrete guys out there that are artists that can
Oh,
polish
yeah.
some concrete and make it look really nice.
Mhm. Yeah. I wouldn't be opposed to it.
I'm not opposed to any kind of material,
No.
as long as it's
It'll stand up well.
right.
in the weather.
I'd say no, nothing wouldn't, but, as far as rock or, marble or quartz or, whatever, I realize that stuff's high dollar, but I'm just saying, as long as it's something like that, concrete,
So would the council be opposed, and again, John, I'm not trying to spend the money on this.
No,
I'm just saying, we've walked around this thing for about 5 years now. I would like for us to get some serious numbers on this, so that we can look at something and say, is it something we do this year? Do we plan for it in a prior, or in a later year? How do we go about it? So if I was to say, what if we meet in the middle and say, look at under $25,000, and we let a committee run with it and report back to us before budget time, we can make a decision, do we do this now? We can start figuring out, where are we going to get the money?
So could we?
I have a suggestion.
I'm sorry.
Can we do half, work on getting half of, 15,000 in the budget this year? That's not quite as big a killer as 30. And then next year, working in maybe the other 15.
We can certainly look at that, but until we have a number and a design.
That's where to start.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we gotta have somewhere. I mean,
So.
because
maybe
Jeff
I'm
may be
looking at
right,
this
it
back.
might be $30,000-$40,000.
well,
Hang on a second, Dina's got a comment.
Well, I just was thinking, can we look at it, I think backwards from that? Like, could we, when we're looking at budgets, could we say, where can we find this money? And then that would maybe give us a ballpark if we found this much money that in the budget, and we're not gonna do it this year, but we have found where we could, I just hate to say, give a committee a number of 30,000 and then us be like, now where's this coming from? You know what I mean? Because, so if we do it, let's find the money first and get a ballpark number that we think we can set aside, then we give the committee that number, and then they start working on what they can do with that amount of money.
I mean, it's a possibility, but the way we do the budget is we tell the department heads, go tell us what you need and what you want.
well, 25 this way.
And then we start trying to get that whittled down. So I can assure you with this group, we're not going to find the money just laying around.
So I hate to take that away from them.
But we're not, we're trying to say, hey, this is what this amount will get us, Is this what we want? so that we have an idea of how much we need to.
need to, but are we ever going to?
Just
Well,
the
I will
stuff I looked
second
at.
Jan's of the 25,000, I think it was, of us starting to look in that direction.
You would do that?
Yes, I will second that motion.
It wasn't really a
I'll
motion,
make
but
the motion.
but we don't need a motion. I just want consensus of the council. Can we move forward looking at it from that perspective?
We can look.
Yeah,
We're
I
not
think
gonna
we
spend,
need
we're not
to-
spending any money,
spending it.
we're not committing to anything
Right.
other than getting some momentum going.
Designs and,
We can look at it for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there's
I
no
think
harm in.
we're just looking, we're not spending,
We're just window shopping, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we're just window shopping. We're getting ideas,
You
but I
can get
think if
something
we
nice for
don't,
25,000.
I think then we're
I think-
saying we don't want it.
Chad thinks we can do it for 20.
I think you can get something nice. for
Marty, what do you
25. I think there's
I
also
think we
options
should
out
look at it, and
there.
then if we look at it and think, well, there's just no way we can do it for 25,000, we,
Putting some
Get the right
resources
number.
together, you
Sure,
may
right.
do it a lot cheaper.
And looking for donations and, what else did y'all say?
Grants.
Grants. But I think if we say, yes, we're gonna have a committee, we're gonna put some money towards it, we're gonna start looking at it and coming up with some more designs that would fit this budget, I think, yeah, I think that's what we need to do.
Where was all y'all at 3 years ago? My question, while we were beating this horse.
Well, COVID put us all down, so, yeah.
So I would just like for us to move
I would too.
as a body,
It's
looking
true.
at it. And if it's 20,000, if it's 25, give the committee
place to start,
something to
yeah.
start and report back to us. And then when we go into budget, like I said, it may not be in the budget. You guys get the report, sales tax is flat. This is gonna be a tough budget year. We're looking at doing some other things in the budget this year with dedicating some money to our fleet. So budgets are gonna be tight, there's no doubt about it. I'm not saying we can do it this year. I'm just saying I would like to get some traction on this, get the council involved, and say
Well,
this
if
is
we
what we're
set
shooting for.
25 and we come back for 15, everybody's gonna be excited.
There you go.
So I've got just a question about this. So on here, the picture, it says, in honor of all Star City veterans, past, present, future. Are we looking at something like that? Or are we looking at something that would include names? Or would
The
that?
names will go on the papers.
I realize that you could do the papers with the names like that if somebody wanted to do that. Is that what we're thinking? We just want to do something like this because there's no way that we're going to be able to afford to have names.
Right, we're not putting anybody's name on this, it's just the
I don't know that that's been
different
determined. I think that's what the committee,
Well, okay, and so that's,
The original idea was for the military memorial, to be more of a blanket and cover. And then, like Misty said, they could possibly have something added in a paper sense for several reasons. For one, I don't know if we won't can put anything that big, and you're more likely to miss someone, and where do you stop? What's considered West Fork?
You have to let
Whereas
families do
with the
that.
police and the fire department, we have specific departments, we have specific employees, and we do
Right.
have specific names that have lost their,
Mhm.
that made that ultimate sacrifice
Right.
and lost their lives.
That's right.
So for that, we were gonna put names. That's
Sure,
something,
sure.
that's something you can control. The
right.
military is a little harder to control, to go out and find every name from, when you go, how far you go back. and all that.
Everywhere, yeah.
Right, so
Well, I think
that
that's why we
was,
leave
that
it.
was the original, to answer your question, that was what the original committee had decided.
Well, and that's kind of what I was thinking that.
And this is just, we can make it, you obviously don't have to, I do like incorporating the emblems of the military, we had talked about that as well in the original committee. But how you word it is completely.
Right.
That'll have to be determined depending on the size and the shape
Sure.
and everything.
And that'll depend what the engraving and what you add and how big, that's all gonna determine if you did something like this on the price. This particular one, the way it sits, is right at $15,000 is what the guy told me. So, but yeah, that was the original plan.
okay. So we've got a chair and a secretary for this. We've got council buy-in and support. Let's look at trying to keep it under 25,000, but more than anything, get us some pricing of what we're looking at with a memorial that we would all be happy with.
Yep.
Does that sound good?
Yep, perfect.
Okay. Anything else, Chad?
Don, do you have any idea when you would like to meet?
You know, it's just getting to be the busiest time of year, so.
Yeah, I know. Anytime but a Thursday.
I'm just curious if you had anything in mind yet.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Any chance we're gonna ever look at buying a sunflower for real?
Let me go sit down before that starts.
Let's
I'm
make
not
that to
buying a
other
so-
business.
Okay, I want to put it on the business, because we didn't even know, you know?
I don't have anything else.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chad.
Thanks, Chad.
All right. Next up, Fire Department, Chief Myers.
Hey, don't take as long.
Well, I pulled a chat, you don't want me to talk about it.
My part did not take.
Because yesterday's like, I really don't have anything to talk about.
He's up there 27 minutes.
Thank you for coming.
I was doing what I was told.
So you can see our report, 82 calls for the month, pretty run-of-the-mill, stuff. We have 5 of our newest starting EMR class, which teaches them the medical side of the majority of our calls. So we really need that. It'll go for, golly, the next several weeks. It's gonna be 80 hours, I think, altogether. So they'll be busy with that.
5 weeks total, ain't it?
It's a while.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Justin was able to sign up for it, but he did what he could do. Getting ready for West Fest, pancake breakfast, kick that off as best we can, so. Other than that, really, all I got.
Any questions for Chief Myers?
Hey, Chief, when it says good intent calls, what are those?
It could be anything. It could be a cabinet tree. It could be.
Soccer ball and a ball.
It could be going to the school and my kids climb on the truck.
Yeah, how many of you could intent calls were there?
One.
One?
Yeah.
I wish I'd have known. I'd have looked it up to tell you exactly what it is, but,
Change the batteries and the smoke detector.
You never know.
Might have been.
it can, honestly, we do get calls for cats and trees. So,
Have you ever seen a skeleton of a cat in a tree?
I tell that to everybody. All depends on how bad she's crying, whether we do it or not.
Any other questions for Chief Myers?
I don't have a question, but can I thank the fire department and the city, the employees, I think the police department. There were so many people that were at the block party last night at the school, and I just loved all the community involvement that was there. So I didn't know where I should interject that, but I'm going to say it now. So thank you all for everything you did to make it a success.
Yeah. So, since Chief Myers is up here, I've talked to Chief Halliburton, Chief Myers, both about, is there a way we can do something with the youth and incorporate police, fire, and even EMS? And I know Sergeant Goggins looked into this several years ago to the point of trying to get some curriculum developed for the school to where a kid could start a path toward a career in one of those fields. I've talked to Mark and Bruce both about, we've got a new school administration. Would this be a time to see if we can get any kind of buy-in from the school to support something like that? I don't know what it would look like. Bruce sent me a YouTube video earlier today of a thing that they did. I think that was in Virginia, wasn't it, Bruce?
That was in Virginia.
Yeah, where they've reached out to the public, and if nothing else, which the fire department already has their Explorers program, which is great. I'm just trying to say, can we expand upon that with all 3 first responder branches, if you will? And maybe we can't get into the school yet, but can we still do something within our departments? So anyway, that's something that I've asked them to look into, and like I said, I know.
We have one of our explorers going to go to an EMT class at Farmington, and they didn't have enough people sign up for the class, so they're not going to be able to have it. So it would be nice if we could have our own.
Yes.
That would be fantastic, and it's a career direction that students.
Our kids don't have to go to Farmington or Lincoln or somewhere else.
We could be pulling kids from those.
Exactly.
So.
Just, if you don't mind, Mayor.
Yes.
Just real quick, what I used to do before I came here, when I was an SRO, I was also the mentor for what we call, with the program you're talking about, it's called Public Safety Cadets. It's not like police, fire, explorer, it's actually a national program, and it involves fire, police, and EMTs, and it starts at age 14, and you can stay in it until you're 21. And basically what we'll be doing is raising our supply of future firefighters, police officers, and EMTs, you know, and giving them real world experiences, competitions that they go to, mostly in Tennessee right now, but during those competitions, they have to do an investigation. They have to lift fingerprints. And this is just the police side of things. I wasn't involved with the fire side of it. But by the time they turn 21, say they get in at 14 to 16, by the time they're 21, we've given them so much knowledge that the police academy would be a breeze for them. And they could walk right in and interview, and which is also a life skill that we would teach them, how to interview for the position. And boom, you're in. So.
And I know that Fayetteville puts on a lot of those type of programs because Pitt has actually went to several of them many years. And so I would reach out to them because they already have a program like that.
Well, we have tons of resources, yeah. I would just like to see us start.
Right.
Like I told you the other day, the schools even cut away from their fire marshal program at the school, which I hate that they cut that out. So hopefully with the new admin, we'll get them back.
Yeah. So, something we're gonna look at as departments and see if there's.
It'd be nice if we could get with our school admin and see what we could get involved with them on that. You know, like Lincoln did a jail standards class. So
Teaching those kids from Lincoln how to act when they're in jail?
Teaching the kids at Lincoln how to work in the jail.
That's great.
To go to work in the jail.
I think it's fantastic. So we're gonna see where it goes. I've asked them to look into it, and I'm sure that Chief Harrison with Central will be more than happy to look into it. I know Sergeant Goggins has already done some legwork on it, so we have some resources to dig into and look further, and we'll see what happens.
That's exciting. Yeah, y'all should ask for a meeting with the administration and get with them and find out. I mean,
Well, our Explorer program's really working.
our Explorer program's been great.
Yeah.
And, you know, we don't usually lose any to other fire departments or anything. We have, but they were older and went, you know, for the job, what they've been trained.
And that's what we
for.
want.
Exactly.
Whether it's here or somewhere else.
Yeah,
Give them an opportunity.
I love it.
Yeah.
Our program would expand a lot with that.
All right, thank you,
And
sir.
they're chairman for that.
There we go. Christie, do you have a financial report for us?
It's cold in here. I agree with Christie.
Okay, so the city bank balances have gone down by about 56,000 so far this year, but our budgets look really good. We're at 143,000 under budget. We do still have close to $100,000 in ARPA money that we're going to be talking about later in the meeting. And our sales tax is staying very steady this year compared to last year's. The water department, they are also showing under budget by about 200,000. That doesn't take into effect their long-term obligations. So if you look down a little bit farther, it shows that they're over budget by about 93,000. So I think by the end of the year that that'll probably balance out a little bit depending on how much adjustments Fayetteville does to these coming bills that we're guessing at right now. If you can see down under the sewer, the income and expenses for the sewer, in July we were negative $21,000. Wasn't very happy with that number, but I think they came to the best number they could justify. So hopefully this month's will be a little bit better, and by the time we get the readings for September, we should have a new meter, so hopefully that won't continue to go against us. So
Any questions for Christie?
Thank you for the text.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Christie. So we don't have any old business. We do have a couple items of new business. Item 1 is to approve the use of the remaining ARPA funds for the sidewalk project from Main Street to Maple Street, on Main Street from Maple to Garfield, sorry. So we're talking about that stretch of sidewalk that runs next to Charlie Rossetti's house. There's a huge silverleaf maple tree there that we have fought in this city for years. What Isaac is proposing is that we would come in and we would shift that sidewalk over, we would utilize that ditch, kind of take that ditch out, curb and gutter that, if you will, to move that sidewalk to where we can get away from it, get that thing widened out to where it's actually walkable. Am I missing anything on that, Isaac?
Just putting drainage, overall drain tile and.
Put a culvert in.
Yeah.
He went ahead and looked at Garfield. Could we, we get a flooding right there in the middle of Garfield every time it rains hard. Didn't you say that actually gained an inch before it hit the ditch?
Yeah, it's.
So that actually runs uphill, coming to Main Street.
Chad had his laser set up right, it was dead flat.
My part was done right.
So that's the project that we're wanting to spend those funds on. That sidewalk, instead of having those 90-degree corners on it as it does now, would be a straight sidewalk that fed from, across the street there in front of Charlie's house from the railroad tracks, and it would be more of a straight shot all the way down past the bank.
I'll make the motion to approve.
So is there gonna be a sidewalk now through the bank parking lot? Or
Yes.
you're still just
Yes.
walking around in the parking
The
lot?
bank will get new driveway aprons with a sidewalk through,
Oh.
so.
Oh,
Take the tree.
I second.
We have a motion and second. Is there any other discussion before we vote? Okay. All those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Those opposed, no. That motion carries. Item 2 is to accept the resignation of Jimmy Condiff. Do we have a motion, vote on that?
You can call for all in favor. He has submitted one.
He has submitted, yes.
Yes, he has, and he needs to.
Yeah. Jimmy's moving for family reasons, so all in favor of accepting that resignation?
Yes.
Okay, that has been accepted.
If we said no, would he stay?
I don't think so. I don't think that that's an option.
I don't think it makes a difference.
Yeah.
It's mama, he's worried about mama, that's different.
So, item E, other business. Do we have any other business? We do.
We do. We need to talk about snowplow.
Okay,
It's only August, but we still need to talk about snowplow.
okay. Isaac, you want to come on up?
You gonna take notes?
All right,
I just
talk.
want to know, are we ever really looking at getting one? I mean, we talk about them all the time, but is it a reality? Is it possible for reality, or are we just,
Well, right
This
now,
board controls the purse strings.
right now, we have zero capability of taking care of snow. The truck that we had the spreader bed on was totaled out in the spring, so we have nothing to even put the spreader bed on.
and we need it so bad?
You get a
trust me, up in our house.
1 ton, you can put the spreader bed on it and the plow.
So we got $80 and $100 plow, and how much is the 1 ton?
Depends.
Probably about 95 to 110,000.
State bid, you get them cheaper than that.
Oh,
Probably.
You get them way cheaper than that.
How many days do we have snow on the roads this year? Anybody count?
This past year wasn't bad, but the two prior to that were awful.
How many did we average on those two?
I don't know, not a lot.
7.
The definition of snowplow is, the ones you see on the state trucks, that is a snowplow, but they do make angle blades that we can attach to our backhoe that we can
I
plow
was
the
gonna say, don't
backhoe.
we have a tractor we can attach?
We have
it
a
to?
tractor that we plow with every year, so we are plowing snow,
Right.
just not with a traditional truck and plow.
Just not where they want to plow it.
Yeah, I guess.
So do we need to buy more of the blades, or are we okay with what we have? Do we need someone that can do it, or? What's our holdup to get the city cleaned up when it snows? I guess.
We
that's my
managed
The sun.
pretty well. I mean, this year we're gonna have to have a dump truck to put a spreader bin on, for sure. And we kicked around the brine option. The tanks and the sprayers are not expensive. The tank to store the brine in is really expensive. As much as we can spend on a plow.
So I've talked
So what
about,
would be your preference?
I've talked about the brine option, the pre-treat option, and trying to utilize the county to do the brine storage and the mixing, the county road department for that. I don't, or even Fayetteville. I don't know if we could get any traction on either of those, but.
Do we want to do anything else with Fayetteville?
We'd rather charge you for it. They'd like them treated for you.
They might. But I know.
What we're
it's-
doing now is, it's pointless to go out until it is done. Because spreading a little bit of gravel on top of it is just giving you traction.
Yeah, that's
And
right,
then we can't really do anything to remove it until it's done.
right.
Because if you plow it and it snows 2 inches behind you, you're just.
Well, a lot of times you're plowing and you're creating ice.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the, it depends on the snow, really. Some of them you can plow off, some of them you plow over. And if you're not treating it with something in between the plows, you,
In the movies, there are guys that do that for a living. I mean, we not know people that do that for a living.
There are several contractors that come through here and plow snow.
I see them in the movies, that's the only place I see them, but I'm serious, I mean.
Arvest has one, Harps has one.
Jonathan Wood, J&A Lawn Care does Harps.
Yeah. I believe Easy Mart has a plow service that comes
It
and
might be
plows theirs.
cheaper to look into getting somebody that does that and pay them when we have that, because we don't have it all the time, realistically, but we do have some streets that are pretty rough, and, one of them's where I live. I'm not gonna kid you, you don't wanna go down the hill when it's snowing.
I can look into the contract.
It might be a thought.
I went down that hill backwards in a city truck one time, in the ice.
I went in the ditch too, but if I only got
There's
the car out,
where, it wasn't your vehicle, so you didn't.
so where do we want to go with the snow plow, Charlie?
We want to look into getting something done for our city, so, and if we can find a contractor maybe that could go and clear things when it's necessary, as much as possible. I mean, Marty, you gotta go down that hill too, girl, what do you think?
I mean, I can work from home, so I.
Well, most people on our hill can't work from home.
Yeah, I
It is rough.
My issue with it is, and it's not that I'm against any of it, my issue is how many days do we typically average a year? And then, like this year in the bad one that we had, I drove to Fayetteville every day, and our roads were clear one day after Fayetteville's roads were clear, the back roads in Fayetteville, right? So it took one more day for our roads to clear than it did their back roads, and they worked on them every day.
Constantly.
Yeah.
24/7.
Yeah, they keep Archibald Yale or S curves, I don't know what it's called now, but they keep that clean.
Nelson Hackett.
Nelson Hackett. They keep that clean, but that's a 24-hour project of putting spray on that in combination with plowing it. So
Not to mention the expense.
I don't think we're equipped, even with a plow, I don't think we're gonna have Nelson Hackett type roads through the city of Westport.
No.
Well, we just need to decide there's dangerous areas that definitely need the attention. Probably even Three Dog, whatever it is, down by Harps. That's pretty steep coming down through there. Just places that are dangerous for people, I would think.
Yeah, Three Dog Lane is.
That's it, 3 Dog Lane, yeah.
I think Harps takes care of most of that, and then when it turns to Cedar Springs, that's a private drive, so.
Right, okay. Well, I'm just saying, there are areas that Well, like, you know, in our section where people, you know, there's a lot of people that live up there. And then you got West Fork Acres is flat. If I lived down there, I could probably get out and go anywhere. But, you know, I can't get out and go anywhere from where I live. Am I wrong?
It's not flat.
Well, but it's a lot more flat than the other side of the road.
So Isaac, will you get us some options?
I'll try to get some options.
Okay.
You have to get them.
Contractor numbers maybe, and
I ain't gonna get that.
plow numbers.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
You mentioned.
All right. Yeah. Is there any other business? Dina, did you have some?
I don't.
She does not.
If I did, he might hurt me.
All right, so no other business. We'll move into mayor's comments. I was just going to echo what Dina said earlier. The school block party was fantastic last night, yesterday evening. It was hot, but there was a great turnout at the school. I haven't seen something like that since the homecoming game. The library was down there. We had a great presence down there. Police and fire were there. I saw several kids shooting water at parking cones. The police were making their rounds. Sergeant Goggins had his kiddos down there. Are any of them in school? No? You just took them for the fun? Cheap date night.
Bouncy houses.
Yeah. But no, it was a great event for the school, showcasing new administration, some new vision. Chad and the Parks Department had set up our stage for them to use, so it was great to see that being utilized in the community in other ways. And the school has put in a community clinic now. And I didn't get all the details on that as far as who is welcome at the community clinic, but I did specifically talk, I can't remember the art teacher's name, didn't
Miss Sarah Mask?
Yes. I spoke with her, and it's definitely for children who are at school. And Dina, you can probably speak to this a lot more
It's
than
for
I
the community. Anybody can come.
Are there income requirements, or is it
If
just,
they take insurance, just like any other clinic, then it's open to anybody.
will there be a doctor or nurse practitioner?
I think a
or-
nurse practitioner.
Okay.
Yeah, and they'll be able to do tests and.
Yeah, they can do
things.
strep
Mhm.
screenings or tests
Yeah.
on site.
Referrals for things. We're also eventually gonna have like a food pantry so that people can come and get food. We have another room that's gonna have clothing that people can come and get. And so it's gonna be a community building in a lot of different facets. It's just that we're having to get all that organized and in place. But it's gonna be great.
Absolutely, and she was mentioning that they're looking at adding some mental health facilities in there as well in the future. So I think it's going to be a great benefit for the community, definitely a huge benefit for the school to have on-site.
Yes.
Could cut down on a lot of sick kids.
Good. Or if
So-
they need immunizations.
Yeah,
instead of having to
immunizations
send the
will be done
kids
there,
somewhere else,
physicals.
We can just be like, just let's walk over here with parent consent
Yeah.
and take care, take care of it.
So that was really exciting. The new superintendent, what was his name?
John Unger.
John Unger?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so Superintendent Unger was, he's very upbeat, had a very positive message last night. The staff that was on hand, they were all very positive. I met the assistant superintendent.
Andrea Ward.
Miss
She was
Ward.
instrumental in getting the grant for that building and that
Yeah.
project.
Yeah, so
Where's it gonna be exactly?
it's in the old
Attached to the school or?
the old third grade wing.
Oh, okay.
You'll see it if you drive over there. They've put some nice wood posts out in front of it, kind of created a nice entry into it.
It's gray instead of being the other color of the brick. So if anyone's gonna go, please park in the parking lot and walk over to the building. Don't try to drive over to the building and park.
But it's closed off from any other
Yes.
of the student buildings.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that was its own separate building anyway, wasn't it?
But
Yeah.
they built a wall partway through the hallway, so the people that are coming in from the community can't
Get into the school.
get into the school part, and then they built a wooden wall where it used to be chain link, so people can't get in that way. So I know a lot of people are concerned about student safety, but they've addressed those things, so.
Good. Yeah, so it was a very positive event
Those
last
have
night.
been
Very positive.
wonderful in several other schools around.
We're excited.
Very
to get it.
successful.
Yeah, so,
And I'm excited that they're gonna add some mental health in there too.
yeah. So,
Kids need to know that mental health is not ugly and bad.
Definitely.
all right, John.
Hey, I make a motion, we adjourn.
There you go.
All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, no. We are adjourned.
So